Alright guys, HyDra back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. One of the big topics going into the upcoming qualifiers is no doubt OpTic Texas versus Atlanta FaZe, a matchup that OpTic dominated for the last couple of seasons. This year though, an absolute role reversal since Drazah has joined that FaZe lineup. Pred revealing exactly why he talked so much trash, a little bit of trash at the very least, to FaZe at the major, staring down Cellium. Turns out that Cellium started the turnaround first. Cellium, if he's going to keep potentially getting in Pred's head going forward, is that the key to this matchup going potentially in FaZe's way going forwards, or how are OpTic going to turn this one around this season? Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. First of all, some great stats to look at, especially discussing Cellium today. This is the Cellium Index, as has been known for the last couple of years. Percentage of maps with a 1+0, 1.0 KD plus. For the last few years, Cell has dominated this stat for understandable reasons. And yeah, yet again, he is number one here. So these are all map KDs at or above 1.00. 58 that he's, well, basically this is the win percentage of ones they've played, and we can see the differential here between when he goes positive when they win and when he goes below 1 and they lose. So this differential is rather high. Cell, as standard, will rank number 1 on percentage of series positive. But these are some of the other names. It's a pretty common comparison between who got MVP candidates within reason. Cell, Simp, Scrap, HyDra, Skyz, top 5, attached Drazah, Pred, aBeZy, and then Lin's actually getting the 10th spot here, which is pretty impressive because Rocker have rather fallen off lately. But roster changes to come for those guys. There's also this, S&D opening dual kings. No surprise who is the number 1 of this stat right now, but actually number 2, maybe, I wouldn't say surprising, but just to show the level that FaZe is still performing at. Their search last season with Slasher, they had that crazy, like, was it 13, 14 win streak in Search and Destroy that eventually Toronto Ultra snapped when they played Major 2, whatever, or Major 3, whatever it was, at that tournament, but they won that crazy run with Slasher on the team. This year, Slasher went to Boston. It's not like they've been great at their Search and Destroy, let's be real. But aBeZy, we know this guy's the First Blood King. But honestly, the top 4, Simp is here as well. But Shotzzy and Pred, this is the interesting question for me coming into the season, was how Shotzzy and Pred were going to fare from the First Blood angle, right? Because both of those guys, Shotzzy on OpTic last year and Pred on Seattle last year, they were both the ones going in first to get the First Blood. So I was always wondering, really, how are they going to manage that? Turns out they pretty much both do it, and they both do it to pretty damn good success. Shotzzy, certainly online that has been the case, and it's still been the case on LAN. I think that Shotzzy's been really impactful, but his Search and Destroy numbers this stage were monumental, and Pred was great as well, until they got to, you know, the Championship Sunday, arguably. These are the other names further down the list. Dashy at 26, but, you know, it's not their job, right? So that's how you have to look at it. Also quickly to mention on Neptune, he's making a comeback. We know this to be true now. He's had an interesting career, right? He was a very well-respected Halo kid a couple of years ago. At the start of the Cold War season, he makes the transition to Call of Duty. I think he played with, like, Parasite maybe briefly in some sort of Challengers team. Didn't go especially well, but then he was in the league, of course, and did a respectable job. Even in Cold War, he was on Florida towards the end of the year. He showed some promise. He was around as well next season. Then he kind of fell off a little bit, was out of the league, went back to Halo, didn't really have the success there. Now he's coming back to COD. So he's talking about, yeah, number 1 sub player from last year's Challengers, get me back in type thing. And it's rather plausible teams that might make changes to that effect. We discussed the Ordnance gloves the other day as well, now banned by the pros. We talked earlier today that there are a few changes right now to the GA meta, as it were, that changes are being made with seemingly the intention to shut down teams' strengths around them. FaZe are not going to be able to get rid of their sub-base hardpoint and arguably their, you know, invasion control or whatever, which they seem to rather like potentially. At least they like high-rise as well, so high-rise is potentially the one control getting gone by the decisions the pros are apparently making. But FaZe are not going to be able to get away with maintaining that kind of map set in the same way that Subliners are not going to be able to get away with keeping the Ordnance gloves around. But KiLLa Sloss, right, inaugural world champion 2013, highly respected figure in the scene, says the following: all they want to do is shoot their gun. Should be there, whatever, forgiven on this occasion. Ordnance gloves or strong arms just make you get the game more tactical and requires you to spend more time in the lab, right? So this is KiLLa's take, this is Octane's take as well, that there are ways around this, and KiLLa obviously was also a very solid player back in Ghost, back in the day when strong arm was an actual perk that could be used. We've got to talk there about this FaZe versus OpTic rivalry, because it's not going away anytime soon. Since this man has rejected the OpTic offer during the off-season and gone to join FaZe, it's been quite the turn of events between these two respective teams. I mean, here he goes. And Drazah, he's a funny character, right? He seems to think that he's in everybody's head right now, and in large part, maybe he is, right? In the OpTic guy's head and in Scrappy's head, at least he seems to believe, although Scrappy would say the other way around. Those two teams play, I think it's the 21st of April that we get Toronto versus FaZe, and with any luck, we're going to get Toronto versus FaZe, OpTic versus FaZe again when we get to LAN in Toronto, because, you know, those are the best teams. You've got to expect them to match up at some point. But one of the conversations that was had during the OpTic, the Vision episode that Hitch put out, discussing or kind of, you know, documenting the behind the scenes nature of what happened in Miami, was Pred versus those guys. We saw the clips floating around of what Pred had to say during their series when, you know, he was staring down Cellium. This is what Pred likes to do. He brings the energy. This is the reason why I think that Pred is a great acquisition for the team. Sure, he didn't have the greatest championship Sunday in his life, but generally speaking, he's a great player on LAN, and I think as a player, he has that kind of cutting edge that OpTic, I think, have lacked a little bit, and he just brings some you know, a demeanor, a winning energy, I think, that I think will serve OpTic well in the long term. I still think Kenny has been the best pickup for these guys, but I think Priestahh is a valuable asset. Sure, he didn't have his best Sunday, and there might be multiple reasons for that. But we know that he was, you know, talking trash on Cell at this particular moment, and then Cell went on to do rather well against him for the rest of the day. This is when Priestahh actually commented on it last night and said, why did this happen, and what Cellium's been up to. So we know Cell has been trying his best to get in everybody's head. He is trying to break, it seems, the curse of if you shoot bodies, you lose the map. That is how it's been, and it's funny, really, because Cell did this against every team they played, and people thought, well, is Cell going to shoot bodies against OpTic? Turns out, yes, absolutely he's going to shoot bodies against OpTic, and he also has other tricks of his sleeve, Cell, just to get in the head of the opposition, talking in the game chat, you know, typing in the game chat itself, the pre-game lobby and all this stuff, putting in some words. This is what he was up to, it seems, and that's why Pred had the reaction that he did.
Yeah, the reason I even said that, like, the bitch thing is because during that map, one of them went into game chat, like, running them, like, during a map, during the round, like, I think one of them clutched or some shit, and they were talking shit during the map. I don't know, who the fuck talks in game chat? You know what I'm saying? I was like, fucking guys, fucking. I went up to them after we fucking won the map. I was like, you fucking. I find that so funny. They want to troll, like, if they want to troll, I'll troll back.
So these are the records over the last couple of seasons now. OpTic Texas versus Atlanta FaZe. So we're looking 2022 during the Vanguard year when OpTic pretty much dominated this matchup. There was a time major for 2022 that FaZe beat them, but apart from that, it was all OpTic all year. And understandably, given the fact that FaZe were on average placings, as they always are, the better team, and on results, you know, they're always number one in the standings, right, FaZe, but they would always lose the OpTic series. And it seemed like at the time, Dashy against Cellium, like he just owns that matchup, and they just seemed better prepared. FaZe always seemed a bit shook as well. I think this was the point that Aches was making a little while ago now, is that he would love to see FaZe, as they did at Major 2, turn up just thinking they're the best. You know, massive arrogance, massive cockiness energy, just turn up believing you're the best team and you're going to smash everyone. That seems like the demeanor that FaZe turned up with, and it worked out very well in their favor, and has done potentially so far this season. But even then, right, FaZe questions about how they're doing Grand Finals. Major 1, of course, in the Grand Finals here, where they lost to OpTic 5-2 as it was back then, after getting reverse swept in this series, winners round 2 in the first time that these two organizations played, because it was only OpTic Texas before OpTic Chicago happened the year prior. But now this matchup has turned around dramatically. Is it the Drazah joining thing? Is it something else? Has Cellium like got over this Dashy curse? Obviously, they're kind of still good boys and everything. I don't really know. To me, it's more like they're the strongest squad right now. They seem to have more ice in this particular series, but Drazah must have played a part in it, right? So they've got to turn it around. They play FaZe first game back. Today is the 7th of April. 1 week today, on the 14th of April, they play Atlanta FaZe, the first series back. So this is going to be a really telling game, I think, just to see how it goes. It's only an online series. It doesn't massively matter. FaZe are going to be the favourites. They've won it so many times so far this season, this particular series. Also want to mention, not many the games are so spread out, you know, like this is the entire month of April and May going into Toronto's Major 3. They're not really playing that many matches. Like there's so many weekends where there's just one game. I wish the format was different, but you know, what can you do? They play FaZe though first back. After that, it's Surge, it's Vegas, it's Miami, then it's Boston, Gorillas and Thieves. So actually, again, a pretty doable stage, you've got to think. Surge, I like their change, I think, but I don't think they're going to make massive strides. Vegas are good for sure. Miami might make a change, and that series against OpTic is always kind of interesting, certainly online from, you know, matchup perspective. Boston may improve. Gorillas, I don't really rate them online, and then Thieves might get better as well. But really, their big game is the first game, and this is a matchup that, you know, theoretically they might go into the major at 6-1, 5-2, feeling very confident. But this is one of those series that if you go down 0-6 against FaZe on the year, Drazah and FaZe are just going to have immense confidence again when they play on LAN. But at least, and to be fair, if OpTic win, then FaZe will think, you know, online cheese, who cares, right? We'll see you on LAN. So I think there's no really winning here for OpTic, because if they win, people are going to say, well, can't do it on LAN. And if they lose, people are going to say, well, FaZe and Drazah still own you in the matchup. But I think it's going to be an important testing ground to see if they've made progress over this period, and crucially, maybe if the new map pool is going to favour them or FaZe as it stands. Just a couple of stats to close out the video here with highest grand finals KD in every COD since Ghosts. So formal, I mean, yeah, you can't get close to this guy. His record in Ghost was so absurd because he literally just started playing COD that year. He'd come over from Halo earlier in the season and dominated like multiple championships at the end of the year. But you see the highest number is typically in the 1.4s, if not above, in a grand finals KD. Vanguard, though, only a 1.24, interestingly enough. It was shared, Hook, HyDra, and Pred. Last year, Kismet took the record with a 1.52 in the grand finals, of course, as I'm sure you guys remember, of the World Championship. So very much interested your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
I don't want to try. Wait, hold on.
I don't want to try anything new. It's so hard to try new things. Like new and best G8 guns. Trying new maps is too hard.
Get me out of here, bro.
This is how I feel at G8 chat is going. They literally don't want viewers. My new they will be your favorite.
In our base.
Look at this shit, bro.
You guys are brain dead, bro. What am I hearing, bro?
What's up?
Bro, I'm hearing you have to ride. You should be DMing coaches, bro. What?
He misspoke.
Bro, if you have to DM a coach to get a spot, you are god fucking awful.
You know what he means, bro. You know what he means.
What do you mean? I know what he means. No, I don't.
Bro, there are plenty of.
Scrap, please pick me up into the wall.
Not everyone's used Scrap. Not everyone is used Scrap.
Bro, even if you're not me, bro. Even if you're not me, bro. If you're DMing coaches, you're awful. You're just awful. You're just.
Yeah, but you have an opportunity.
Well, then you know what? They can beat you though,
by doing that. Bro, it's just how I'm just telling you how it is. Whether or not you think they're good or bad.
Bro, how are you telling me how it is?
Because it is how it is. You're disputing that?
What? That you should DM coach? You're just awful.
Bro, okay. That you're not answering my fucking question. There's a difference between awful and the fact that people have gotten on teams by networking. Correct. That has happened before.
Who?
Times.
Who?
Almost. I don't want to say how many percentage of times over the course of years, but plenty. Correct.
Bro, I don't know one person. I don't fucking know who DM. I don't know who DMs coaches. That's insane.
Well, maybe DMing coaches isn't the right word. He's mainly saying networking.
Coaches and players, and I know it happens multiple times a year.
You can't deny there are players in the league that are literally just like buddy with either certain coaches, managers, or players. That's just that's what Ben's saying. Ben's just fucking saying it specifically. You're taking it word for word.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, Scrap. Listen, it would be a great ideal world if people can let their gameplay swing and then the opportunities come, but that's just not how the fucking world works. It's not how it works outside of COD. It's definitely how it does work out sometimes inside of COD.
I agree with networking, but the other fucking shit you said,
yeah, I know the right thing was crazy. I agree with that. I definitely didn't phrase that correctly, but
I agree with networking.